What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unbreakable Grind. It's your guy CJ back with another video. All right, I just left the gym. It's like 12 o'clock at night, but I wanted to give you guys a strategy that I've been using for years to help me stay innovative when it comes to how I'm going to reach my financial goals when it comes to wealth building. All right. So you know how people would tell you to like surround yourself with people that are better than you so that you can always grow. I personally never had that circle. Okay, I actually simulated my circle. And I pretty much played mental gymnastics in order to pretty much simulate my circle so that I can be productive and holding myself to the highest standard possible. Okay, I never had the people around me that were doing substantially better than me, that such that I can use them and kind of like use them as momentum. So I kind of created it. All right. So I was going back and looking at my chart like I always do. All right. Simulating my circle like I always do, and I was like, it'd be good to turn the camera on and show you guys how I do this. All right, so I have a circle of people that I don't even know. All right, so Warren Buffett's one of them. I've got Robert Smith. I've got Reginald Lewis. These are a couple people that are in my hypothetical circle. Okay, now right now we're looking at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's net worth by age. Okay, I'm going to show you how I do it and how I think about it. Okay. So in this chart, we can see Warren Buffett's net worth by age. The blue line is Warren Buffett's net worth by age without inflation taken into account. So that's how much he actually had as a net worth during those years. The green is Warren Buffett's net worth adjusted to inflation, meaning that's how much of today's money technically Warren Buffett had during those years. All right. So this is how I use this chart to actually simulate my circle. So when I was coming out of high school, I kind of probably when I was like more like 19, 20, I started realizing that, man, I need someone to look up to. I need someone to kind of motivate me. And I never could really find the people I was looking for personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if all of you had experience, but I never could find them personally. So what I did is said, forget it. Let me go to the people that I can find on the web, right? Let me go to the actually famous entrepreneurs and let me just simulate them as if they were people I know personally. So I'll read their biographies, right? I used to read through Warren Buffett's biographies, figure out what choices he made at what ages. I look at Robert Smith's, Reginald Lewis. And what I do is look and say, okay, not only am I, so let's take me at like 19 years old, for instance, right? So on this chart, it says that at 19 years old, Warren Buffett had 100K, right? 10K in that money during that time, non-inflated, but 100K in today's money, right? So I say, okay, I'm 19 and I have no money, right? So that means I have a friend who has 100K, which means I'm behind. I'm doing worse than all of my friends or I'm at least worse than Warren Buffett, who is one of my friends, because he has 100K net worth. I have zero. And that's how I used to think about it. So I'm like, man, how do I catch up because I'm behind my friends and my peers? That's the game I used to play with myself. Okay, so I was thinking, man, I need a career, I need a skill set, because Warren Buffett had a skill set that I didn't have. I didn't have a skill set at 19. So that's what got me into looking at the high value skills, high paying skills and stuff like that. And I needed a way to get a fast acceleration, because I knew at like 26, I needed $1 million. Like I was looking at like, man, at 26, I need $1 million. He's at 100K at 19. I'm at zero. All right. So that's what ended up making me kind of take a step back and really realize that I think at 19, I was working at a computer shop still a little bit while being in college. I wasn't even in an engineering major at that point. Okay. I was working at a computer shop and in college. The crazy thing is I realized that I would never catch up with my friend. Like I was like, man, for what I'm going to school for, because I wasn't in engineering at first. I think I was playing around with nursing a little bit, and I was playing around with what else was I playing around with? I was playing around with a couple different majors. Okay, just looking for the right spot for me. I think I played around even music a little bit because I had a scholarship. But long story short, is I was doing the math, looking at the job opportunities, and I was like, man, I cannot catch up with my best dear friend Warren Buffett at the rate I'm going. So that made me realize, man, I have to figure out how to get a salary high enough to where I can catch up with Warren Buffett. And I need to start I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the money, because I need to do a lot of things to catch up with Warren Buffett, actually. All right. So that's how I ended up going into engineering. Okay, I ended up going into engineering like when I was like 20 because I realized at 19 that I would never catch up with Warren Buffett. So as you see here, he's at like 183K. That's between, he's probably, since this is 19 right here, and this is age 26, I'll say that this is somewhere roughly in between. So let's just call this 22, 23 years old right here, right? So at 23, that's when I got out of engineering school. I got out of engineering at school at 23 because I spent 2 years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So that was a waste of time. And I had student loans when I came out. So I came out of engineering school. The good thing is, as soon as I came out, I was making roughly like 120 something K a year as soon as I came out, but I was working internships too, so I had a little money saved. But I accumulated 200K in student loan debt. So technically I was at negative 200K, all right, when it came to student loan debt for the most part. So that means Warren Buffett at 23 was roughly like 183K. I'm negative 200, but I had a little money saved, so let's call it like a negative 150. All right, but I had the 120K salary that I got from doing stuff on the side, and I think I mixed that. I pretty much had like a 80K salary mixed with a couple of gigs on the side to get 120K. But I realized, man, Warren Buffett has 183K net worth, so I have to catch up with him. The good news is I make 120K, so if I live at my bare minimum means, okay, I can probably start to catch up. But the problem is I had to pay the loan. So the first year I paid off my loans, but I also did this. Within the first year, I realized I had to get some side money somehow. So I started figuring out about consulting and contracting and stuff like that. And I started finding some side gigs I could do. I got my salary up to like 180K. So at freaking like 23, I'm making about 180K. Now this is good because I know my best friend, Warren Buffett, his salary is his net worth is 183K. So I don't have that net worth, but at least I'm making money that's comparable to his net worth. So I'm like, okay, if that's his net worth, then technically I can almost save that much before, if I live on my bare means on nothing, I can almost save really close to that, a comparable number. So that's kind of how I became so frugal. I'm like, I will never catch up with my best friend if I don't save all of my money. So that's what made me not save, is because I had friends who were doing so well that I needed to keep up with them. And I didn't even know Warren Buffett, but he was my friend and I was using him as a peer. All right. So now let's fast forward. I probably saved up, roughly $250,000. It probably took me like a year and a half, 2 years to save $250,000 because I was living off nothing. So then I had to pay roughly 200 in student loans, and that put me back down. So now let's fast forward, and let's say I'm about 25. At 25, I hit roughly 250K, something like that. That's because I learned a lot about the contracting stuff. I learned how to I've learned how to niche down and find better skill sets. I was a workaholic, so people started to come back to me, clientele and stuff. So I started to have my own little kind of consulting business and stuff like that. So I got to roughly around 250K at about 25. Now notice, I'm doing good because at roughly at about 23, Warren Buffett was at 183. But at least 2 years later, I can make 250K myself. Okay. So with that 250K income that I had, and of course you have to tax it. I'm like, man, if I save every single dollar, I can start to catch up with my friend. Okay. So I did that for a couple years. You get what I'm saying? From 25 to 26, 27. And I maxed out my highest salary. The highest income I had was about 500K. I got up to freaking 500K, when I was about 27. So that was roughly last year. I got up to one of my highest numbers of income, which was roughly like 500K. So then when I got to 500K, I'm like, okay, I'm saving all the money. And I also made investments, guys. I skipped over that. I also realized that I would not catch up with my friend if I didn't start investing. So somewhere in there, guys, I started buying properties. You can go back and check out some of my old videos. I bought a $300,000 house that has appreciated to about 400,000. So that gave me 100,000. I did some of the stock market investments due to the pandemic stuff. So that ended up making me about 200 and some thousand. Probably about over both of my portfolios about 300 and some thousand. So as you can see, I caught up to him kinda, okay? Because now I sit and I have my net worth is about 1.2 million. And that's when the market is down, because the market is down right now. And it fluctuates up between 1.2 million and like 1.4 million when the market's up. Now, he was at 1 million at 26. I'm 28. So as you can see, I still really haven't caught up with my friend yet. I still have a friend that's doing better than me. And as you can see, my friend at 32 will be making, at 32, my friend will have 11 million. So this is where it gets interesting. So first off, I want you guys to understand that I'm not complacent, but you can see why I'm not complacent. I'm not complacent because look at my freaking friend. Like my friend is literally going crazy. Like I'm at 1.2 to 1.4 million. Literally, I have to be figuring out something insane to catch up and keep up with my dear friend. So I did the research on this. I follow his biography, which is technically, I think of Warren Buffett's biography as me talking to him on the phone. So I read his biography, and what it says he did for that year, that's him telling me what he did today on the phone. I literally play these mind games. I know it seems freaking crazy, but this is how freaking serious I am about success. So I look, and Warren Buffett, when he was roughly 26, that time, 26 to 28, he started his own investment company pretty much. And he got his family to invest in it. They invested 105K. He invested 100K of his money. And he spent the next year getting returns on their money. And the year after that, roughly around 28, which is my current age, he started to partner up with, he started to find partners outside his family. And he eventually ended up making them a lot of money. And that's how he ended up accelerating his wealth to 11 million. So what that tells me is that my friend got very entrepreneurial when it came to growing roughly around the age I'm at now. So what that lets me know is that I need to be building businesses. And I have to take my skill set, and I have to be a leader, and I have to build businesses around my skill set. And there's no way I can keep up with him doing what I'm doing now. Even though I do really, really well right now, I can't. 500K income won't catch me up with Warren Buffett. There's no way that my 500K earning can catch me up, no matter how much I save. So what that does, guys, is that's how you prevent yourself from not being complacent. Okay. The thing is, let me be honest, right? I remember like when I used to be happy to make 100K. I promise you. The only problem is I had a friend who had a $1 million net worth, and I couldn't catch up with him if I made 100K. And literally I had to sit and reconstruct my life and ask myself, what could I do to to fit in with my circle? What can I do to keep up with my circle, to be as productive as my circle? And that made me reevaluate everything I was doing with my life and how I was living my life. That's why I lived bare minimum. I worked on my skills all night. That's how I started to become the person that I preach to you guys all the time, because I was looking at these numbers and it started to it forced me to be a different person. Okay. Without doing this, I would have been complacent, because I would have technically been making more than all the people that I knew in my life. And the circle I had was nowhere near Warren Buffett. So it would have made me not have to reevaluate the choices I was making, to understand that I'm actually not ahead of everybody. I'm behind my peers. See, if you do what I'm doing, you'll actually set yourself up for the maximum growth and put the pressure on yourself, and it'll keep you humble also. It'll keep you understanding that you're not doing as well as you think always. So there's always room to grow and always room to learn. All right. So right now, guys, my goal is to, at 32, I need to be at least 8 million. I've always been behind my dear friend Warren Buffett, because he's so freaking productive. It's hard to keep up with him. But I'm trying to get to 10. My actual goal is 10 million. I think I can hit 10 million by 32. At 32, I'm trying to hit 10 million, but it's going to require me to change everything I do. There's no way I can hit 10 million doing what I do now the way I do it. Okay. So I don't talk about that much on this channel, but I do have a technology consulting company that I'm building that's doing quite well right now. So that's one thing that I'm going to have to push in order to get to the next level, my technology consulting company. The next thing is I'm going to be doing a multifamily real estate deal that I show you guys in a previous video. I think the video is entitled "My Next Big Play," how I'm going to take my my travel stocks, how I'm gonna liquidate those or liquefy those, and how I'm gonna buy a multifamily in my area. Okay, and what my plan is to make profit on that one. So I have a video on that. So that's another thing I'm doing in order to catch up with my dear friend Warren Buffett. Okay, another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to get a little more active when it comes to stock options. Okay, I'm trying to get, I believe now I've got enough money to where I can start making roughly $2,000 a day. My goal is to get to $2,000 a day playing stock options. Okay, now I'm starting really small, but I don't want to waste a lot of money, but I'm willing to risk certain percentages of money, and I'll do the risk analysis, and I'm trying to get myself to where I'm making $2,000 a day. That's my ultimate goal right now. And if I can get to $2,000 a day, I combine all these different things together, and these things should help me get to that 10 million by the age of 32. Now, another thing that's helping me is the tax write-off. So I have a new CPA. My CPA is amazing, and the real estate that I'm doing is actually helping me write off a lot of taxes also. So that comes into play, guys. As you start to make money and as you start to follow different ventures, you're gonna need a CPA, a good CPA, because they're gonna start to make, you can make money by not paying your money out in taxes. So that's another way to make an income. Sometimes you can make, like, let's say you make like 500K, right? Let's say you make 500K. You can make, and let's say you pay 200K in taxes. Well, you can increase your income by reducing the taxes to 100K you pay in taxes, or reducing the taxes to 50K you pay in taxes. So sometimes you can increase your income by paying less taxes, or you can increase your income by actually making more revenue. So there are a lot of ways to make money. I'm trying to make money in all the different ways through all the different facets. And I've got growth stocks and stuff like that. So with all these mechanisms together, man, I'm trying to come up with my trajectory and my play to get to 10 million. Okay, I've done pretty good. I did not beat my dear friend Warren Buffett. So at 26, at about 26 to 27 years old, I've got more than he got at 26. But I think at about 27, that's how he had what I had a year earlier than me. But that's pretty good. Okay, because I'm a black African American in freaking America, and I'm doing good enough to keep up with this chart so far. Okay, let's see how far I can go. Wouldn't it be amazing to look back and I actually am keeping up? If I can do an update at 32 and I'm actually at 10 million, what if I'm past him at 10 million? What if I'm past him at the age 32 and I'm past 11 million? That'd be absolutely ridiculous. I think I could pull it off, but it's going to take me honing down and getting way more strategic and way more particular with how I execute. That's why I'm so serious about all the things I tell you guys, because I'm in the grind. I'm grinding every day myself. Okay. A lot of this stuff I'm talking about and I'm saying might, it's crazy to some people, because some people don't, may not believe in themselves as much as I believe in myself. And it's not because I think I'm special. I think the only thing special about me is I'm willing to look at the stuff. I'm willing to evaluate myself and work towards my goals until my freaking heart palpitates, until I freaking want to cry. I'm willing to freaking give this stuff my all for extended periods of time. And what I found is that's one of the best freaking skills and that's one of the best gifts that I think I've been given, is my ability to persevere and keep my mind and my eyes on the prize, guys. And that's why I preach that. So that's it, man. I wanted to share that with you guys because it might be useful to some. It might be useful to some. Some of you might think this is completely ridiculous. I understand you if you think this is completely ridiculous, because I've never heard anyone say that they actually do this. This is something that I actually do, and I simulate this in my life. I truly have Robert Smith, Reginald Lewis, and Warren Buffett are my actual peers, right? You know how they say surround yourself with peers better than you? Literally, I'm surrounded with those guys. I read their biographies and I simulate my whole life with their perspective. I hope that's helpful to you guys, man. If you like this content, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see the next videos. Hit that notification if you want them immediately, man. And with that being said, I promise to keep the heat coming. Peace.